2 years ago today, we launched the mini budget to reverse Britain's economic decline and to get our country growing again. If the mini budget hadn't been undermined by the economic establishment, things would be different now. The economy would be growing, people would be paying lower energy bills thanks to getting on with fracking. Corporations would want to locate in the UK because of our the self-employed would be doing more business thanks to improvements in IR35. And we would see a more dynamic, go-getting economy. But that didn't happen because the mini budget was undermined. The day before the mini budget was announced, the Bank of England announced the sale of £40 billion worth of gilts. And they failed to properly regulate the pension markets and LDIs, creating financial instability. They've admitted that 2/3 of all the spike in gilt prices around the time of the mini budget was down to them and their failure to regulate the market properly. The Office of Budget Responsibility leaked that there was a £70 billion black hole in the public finances. This subsequently turned out not to be true. But by then, it was too late. My government was forced out of office.
Hey guys, imagine the most embarrassing thing you've ever done. Now imagine uploading a video 2 years later to remind everyone of that cringeworthy moment. On the second anniversary of her infamous mini budget, she took to social media to remind the world not only of what she did to her political career, but also the UK economy. And what's with the colour-coordinated books in the background anyway? She begins with 2 years today, we launched a mini budget to reverse Britain's economic decline and get the country growing again. She goes on to claim that if her mini budget hadn't been undermined by the economic establishment, things would be much better now. Lower energy bills, more investment and a booming economy. But before we get deeper into her fantasy world, let's recall how this was reported at the time. For Financial Insight, Truss and her allies seemed to turn to the Daily Mail and the Express, with headlines like, "At last, a true Tory budget," and "Go for growth. Big tax cuts herald new era." But real financial experts, such as the Financial Times and The Economist, painted a very different picture, describing how her mini budget broke the UK bond market and caused significant financial instability. Back to Liz, who continues to blame everyone but herself, stating that the mini budget's failure was due to interference from the Bank of England and the Office for Budget Responsibility, whose job is to make sure there is budget responsibility. She talks about how fracking would have brought down energy bills, which it wouldn't since gas is sold on international markets, and how lowering corporate tax rates would have magically attracted investment, ignoring the fact that being outside the EU makes that much harder. As usual, it's all somebody else's fault. According to Liz, it wasn't that her budget was uncosted or reckless. It was the economic establishment that sabotaged her. She claims the OBR leaked a £70 billion black hole in public finances, which she insists wasn't true. Yet by the time any clarifications came, the damage was already done and her government was forced out. But the reality is, if the mini budget had been sound, there wouldn't have been this fallout. And if it wasn't such a disaster, why did she sack Kwasi-Kwarteng? The truth is, people are still paying the price for Truss's brief time as Prime Minister. Mortgages have skyrocketed, rents have risen, and many people are struggling as a direct result of her policies. Yet here she is 2 years later, trying to rewrite history, blaming everyone but herself. A little humility and an apology would go a long way, but instead, she chooses to continue to point fingers at everyone else. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. I've been Jake from Just Jake, and as always, see you next time.
You actually made it to the end of the video. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, which, why haven't you already, is somewhere over there. And also, if you want to watch more videos, also check out over there. I've been Jake from Just Jake. See you later.